Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 74, 2017 is to the Honourable Attorney-General, Minister for Economy, Public Enterprises, Civil Service and Communications. Would the Minister clarify why Parliament has not received annual reports of Fiji Airways for the past 2 years, given that taxpayer funds of $18 million per year has been granted to Fiji Airways for marketing? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney-General.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank the Honourable Prasad for this question. Unfortunately, the premise of this question is very digressive. The question actually assumes that the annual reports used to be tabled and they are now no longer tabled. That's what you're trying to drive at. What essentially, Madam Speaker, the point is Fiji Airways, or Air Pacific as it is known, has not tabled any reports previously. In fact, we've gone way back till 2001, and even before that, when you all used to love all the governments before that and Air Pacific and thought everything was hunky-dory, none of them tabled it. None of them tabled the reports. Under the Public Enterprise Act, Madam Speaker, it is not a government commercial company. But let me also tell you, Madam Speaker, that the annual accounts of Fiji Airways is available, if they knew the law, available in the company's office. Go and pick it up from there. It's there. It does not get tabled in Parliament. It does not get tabled in Parliament. It also, Madam Speaker, has the audited accounts. The point, Madam Speaker, is that they're missing is that there are many other entities in Fiji that actually gets grants. This is a marketing partnership. Northern Air, Madam Speaker, he's familiar with Northern Air. Northern Air gets money from the Fijian government. Do we get Northern Air to table their financial accounts in Parliament? Madam Speaker, it's not a separate issue. Madam Speaker, the University of Fiji gets a grant. Do they table the annual report in Parliament? Corpus Christi, Sangam, Montfort, Sri Vivekananda College, Fulton, all of these people, they get grants from government. They don't table the annual reports here. Madam Speaker, what is more to the point is this, if anybody understands auditing and knows about financial systems, is that when you have government giving a grant by way of an agreement, by way of some demarcators, then the Auditor General will go and check to see whether the money has been dispersed in accordance with the stated objectives and principles and agreement through which the money was going to be given. So, for example, in the case of Northern Air, if, for example, government has called for people to supply air services to parts of Laos, I know Honourable Randondo is concerned about that always, and various other parts. Now, it's commercially not viable for any of these airlines to fly there. So what the Fijian government has done, and in fact has increased the subsidy in the past couple of years, we then say, okay, Northern Air, you'll fly there, and we will then supplement the cost of you to fly there. The Auditor General then comes and will check. Okay, government advertised. How is the money dispersed? Is the agreement done or not? Were the actual invoices given to government or not? Did they disperse it or not? Are the invoices valid? That's what the Auditor General checks, and that's how we get the report on it. So the fact to come here and to say, why hasn't it not given its annual report over the past 2 years is actually misleading, Madam Speaker. The fact is, the audited accounts signed off by PricewaterhouseCoopers is actually available at the company's office. As you know, members of this House also know that the company's office has been, as approved by this Parliament, the old Companies Act was repealed. We now have a new Companies Act. And, Madam Speaker, that is a lot more onerous in terms of making disclosure, a lot more onerous in respect of giving all the financial reports that need to be made available. Madam Speaker, let me also then talk about Fiji Airways in respect of the financials. As far as the $18 million allocation was allowed for in the budget, in the 2016 budget, $18 million was allocated, but only $9.16 million was dispersed because of the fact that it was a shorter financial year, given the fact that we had changed the financial year. To date, Madam Speaker, with the financial year beginning on 1st of August. To date, $9.15 million has actually been, Madam Speaker, been disbursed. But the reality also, Madam Speaker, is, and I'd like to take this opportunity because I know there's been a lot of talk about Fiji Airways, and you know, initially there was a lot of articles been written by his fellow colleagues about FNPF and why FNPF should not be lending to Fiji Airways. Today, FNPF, Madam Speaker, is receiving payments way ahead of what Fiji Airways should be doing or should be paying. Way ahead. And FNPF actually, Madam Speaker, has made a very healthy, neat little profit from lending to Fiji Airways. Reality, Madam Speaker, is if you look at countries like Singapore, etc., you always had the superannuation funds participating in very strategic, key economic areas to uplift the well-being of that country. To be strategic about, like Singapore, they had the superannuation investing in Singapore Airlines, if you look at it. They had the superannuation investing in Changi Airport. Now they're able to stand on their feet. They gave them that support. And that's precisely what FNPF did. Now today, Madam Speaker, as you know, Fiji Airways is the only company in Fiji that has some state interest in it, that actually has profit sharing for its staff. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing, Madam Speaker. It's unprecedented. In 2013, Madam Speaker, the profit sharing the staff received was 1.3 million. 2014 was 3.5 million. 2015 was 5 million. And just recently announced was $6.5 million. This is apart from the salaries, this is apart from the individual bonuses, there's actually a stake in the company itself and getting profit sharing from that. Madam Speaker, also, what this has also meant that Fiji Airways has to be a lot more transparent because the staff actually get to know about it. They actually get to know what are the financials and they have a stake in it. So, Madam Speaker, the reality is that this question is in somewhat an obfuscation of the transparency, the greater transparency that has taken place, and the financials, the audited accounts. Annual reports can be very nice. You can give annual reports, nice, glossy. That's what used to happen in the past. All the glossy pictures, they've all been taken out. What we are concerned about is, Madam Speaker, the actual dollars and cents and how well they're doing, and this is all available at the company's office. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Biman Prasad.
Supplementary, Madam Speaker, a very highly unsatisfactory answer to a very simple question. And two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, if the annual reports of Fiji Airways was not presented before, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't. Government holds 51% share in Fiji Airways. And the examples that the Attorney-General gave, that's not where government holds majority share. I mean, the idea of annual report in this Parliament, Madam Speaker, is for the committees and for the public to know what's going on. So it's a very simple question, and a very simple answer could have been, yes, annual reports will be presented. And I would like to ask the Attorney-General, what is the problem in presenting the report to the Parliament, annual report to the Parliament?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
We don't own USP, but we still have annual reports here.
Madam Speaker, this is a problem too. A little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge creates a lot of problems. They simply like to pick at something. Fiji Airways is doing well. We just have profit sharing, good news. Everybody likes it, so they want to pick up on it. USP was created by statute. You know that. You worked there for decades. You worked there for decades, probably too long. The fact of the matter is, Madam Speaker, it was created by statute. The reality, Madam Speaker, is suddenly they have a problem. Suddenly they have a problem with Fiji Airways because Fiji Airways is doing well. Suddenly, Madam Speaker, they cannot go and get these accounts available in the company's office that any Tom, Dick and Mary can go and get. Anybody from that gallery can go to the company's office today, he can go at lunchtime today and get a copy of it. Any public can get it. What's there to be scared about? I want you to say that outside this Parliament so you can take PricewaterhouseCoopers on. I want you to take PricewaterhouseCoopers on. You are making a mountain out of nothing. You, Madam Speaker.
Order. We're getting under. Please, we want to hear the answer, the response that has been given, and the viewers want to hear a response. Please.
Madam Speaker, from the debate from Monday, Tuesday and today, it is quite apparent the opposition is finding itself into political oblivion. They are becoming irrelevant, Madam Speaker. That is the reality.
Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of order.
The standing orders is very clear that the ministers must answer the question in a concise, precise manner. I think the Attorney-General has gone way, way beyond to a very, very simple question. Why the annual report is not presented to Parliament when government owns 51% share? That's a simple question.
Thank you, Honourable Biman Prasad. You asked a question to the Honourable Minister, and the Minister provided you with his response. Thank you. Honourable Nawaipula, you have the floor.
It's 51% owned. It should be scrutinized by this House. Can you assure us, when will you table it?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I've already answered the question.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Pidana Ngabaka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the concern here is the scale of the grant that is given to Air Pacific compared to the other organizations that were mentioned by the Honourable Minister. Simply this, Madam Speaker, how can a country that cannot provide kidney dialysis to its people and send them home to die spend $18 million to support a company that is making more than $80 million a year? That is basically the issue here. It is sinful spending that kind of money on a company that is doing better than anyone, almost better than anyone in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, again, they're digging themselves in a bigger hole. They are, through these questions, Madam Speaker, demonstrating a fundamental lack of economics, a fundamental lack of the commercial realities that exist in the world. Again, Madam Speaker, again, you know, in the same way they said, we'll pay for all the fees for people at university. They're going to take the money out from somewhere. Now they're saying, take the money from golf and give it there. Take the money from Fiji Airways and don't give it to them, but give it there. Do they understand? Do you know that Polynesian Air... Madam Speaker, this kind of fills into the next question by Honourable Matai Akola. Madam Speaker, Tongan Airlines, Royal Tongan Airlines does not exist anymore. Polynesian Airlines does not exist anymore as an international carrier. Solomon Islands is a one aircraft international company. Madam Speaker, the reality is this. They go on about a tourism sector. Tourism sector contributes nearly 37% alone towards the GDP. Alone, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the reality is this. Nearly 70% of all those tourists that come to Fiji need to come by or do come by Fiji Airways. The competitive world of tourism is enhancing itself. Fiji needs to connect itself to greater markets. They talk about, oh, Australia, we must increase our numbers from Australia. Yes, we agree. We must increase our numbers from Australia. That's why Fiji Airways is going to fly to Adelaide also. But Madam Speaker, we need to reduce our percentage of dependency on Australia. Anybody that understands business will tell you, you should not put all your eggs in one basket. Or in their case, don't put all your marbles in one basket. Madam Speaker, the reality is this. We need to increase the numbers, but we need our source markets to increase from other countries. Why? Let me explain. Very simple. If the Australian economy does not do well, there'll be less people inclined to go on a holiday. If we have a greater percentage of people coming from Australia for holiday, it will severely impact us. But if we increase the numbers but decrease the percentage, in other words, if we get 25% from Australia, maybe 20% from New Zealand, 25% from North America, and the rest balance from China, from India, then we are spreading our risk. When there is a cyclone in Fiji, when there is some other event in Fiji, all international airlines withdraw from Fiji. They don't want to fly. Which is the only airline that flies? Fiji Airways. Fiji Airways. And we as Fijians need to support Fiji Airways because it is our national carrier. It is creating jobs. It is creating new destinations. And, Madam Speaker, there is proper accountability. Read the Auditor General's report when it comes out.
Thank you. And lastly, Honourable Rattasela.
Madam Speaker, one of our concerns too regarding the operation of Air Pacific, that they do take a loan, Fiji Airways, for that matter, sorry on that, they do take up a loan from the Fiji National Provident Fund. And that money belongs to all the workers in Fiji. And when institutions such as that, they do give out finance, one of their conditions is not to declare dividends or pay out any bonuses to their directors or employees. In this case, for Fiji Airways, we just said that this month they pay out a huge bonus to their staff and employees. How can the minister overlook that condition of the bank when they do? They can only allow that once the debt is paid off, not when the debt is still current.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
I hate to say this. Honourable members from Kandavu, I'm from Nanrangal, so we have this tabu relationship. But I have to say this, Honourable Member, you are displaying again a lack of commercial knowledge and financial knowledge, notwithstanding the fact you worked at FDB. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is this. Banks lend money to all companies. FNPF has lent money to other institutions and other companies. They lent to Natandola, the development of Intercontinental Hotel. They've lent money to other private companies before. There's no such condition as you must pay all the money first, then only you can have profits declared, then you must share profits. As I've said earlier on, Madam Speaker, Fiji Airways is ahead in its payments to FNPF. Has he looked at the interest rate that they've charged? It's more than what some of the commercial banks are offering. Therefore, FNPF has made a windfall. FNPF has made a windfall, and the members of FNPF have benefited from it. That's what we want. When we collect superannuation, we don't let it sit in the bank. Because money lying idle does not make money. Money lying idle actually decreases in value. You should know that, Madam Speaker. So FNPF goes and buys buildings, invests in buildings, buys properties, buys shares, put money offshore, and then they get the interest from that. And that's how you build your money. That's how you increase the value of your asset base. And that's how the percentages that FNPF members have been increasing have been significantly increasing. I don't want to go into the failures of FNPF from the past. But, Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is, Honourable Member is now saying to all the staff of Fiji Airways, you should not receive this profit sharing until you pay up all your debts. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. And I wish all the staff of Fiji Airways is listening and watching television today to say the opposition people don't want them to get a share of the profits. This is a straight indictment, Madam Speaker. That is the implication. That is the implication. And, Madam Speaker, this unfortunately again demonstrates the lack of understanding of commercial realities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.